we're live. There we go. All right, let's go. Let's see what we got here. Looks like we're all good volume-wise. We're about to start rolling here in a few minutes. It's almost 9 o'clock, so we'll get started in a minute. But I just want to give a chance to let some people get on if they want to. If not, you can watch it later because I know it's a busy day here in Bryant. I don't have my Bryant coffee mug today, unfortunately, but that's okay. I've got coffee, and that's the important part of that. I have not had near enough of it yet. Dana will be in here in a minute. She's going to be fielding some questions and stuff so she can see so we can all see what's going on. So it takes a team to run this stuff, folks. I just want you to know. I'll also let you know that there is a bit of a lag between me videoing and you seeing. So if you have a question, go ahead and throw it out there whenever you think of it, and we'll get to it. And if we need to jump around, we'll jump around a little bit. So anyway, Dana just walked in, and she's at the other end of my office, socially distancing, so we're all sitting good there. That's why I'm not wearing a mask. It would kind of be weird if I had to wear a mask in here and talking to y'all in this. In fact, she's even going further back and sitting at my desk. So it works out real good. Anyway, welcome to Coffee with the Mayor. It is July, and I'm a little bit behind today. I'm a week behind on the Coffee with the Mayor because I didn't figure anybody really wanted to have coffee with the mayor on the 4th of July. Let's be real. Except for maybe my wife, and that was fine because it was a good time to relax. Just a couple of things to let you know what's happening today here in Bryant because it is a busy day in Bryant, believe it or not. First thing off is at the market the market at Midtown. Sorry, my mind went blank for a second because I just got through eating. At the market at Midtown, there's a couple of food trucks there this morning that are good. The Delta Baking Company is there. I got some breakfast from them this morning, and it is delicious. If you get a chance to go, they'll be there until 12. In addition, associated with them is the Joyful Baking Company. And this is the little box. They make macaroons. And just if you can see it, I don't know if you can see how well you can see them, but I got an assortment today, and I'm looking forward to having some of these in a little bit for dessert. I might even share with some people. So anyway, so they will be they are there until 12 as well. And there's a new some artisanal bakers there as well called the Croissanterie. I believe I said it right. I did get it right on my Facebook Live that I did from the marketplace here a little bit earlier. So feel free to go out there and frequent these people. There's also some really good looking vegetables out there from our gentleman who comes every week to sell vegetables. Saw some beautiful yellow squash and zucchini squash, some cucumbers, some real good looking tomatoes. Some real nice new potatoes as well. So if anybody likes new potatoes like I do, you might want to get some. The way I like to do new potatoes is you take them, boil them just a little bit, and then you cut them in half or quarters, and then you put them in a pan and saute them in butter for a little bit until they're nice golden brown. That's my favorite way to eat them. So anyway, I'm getting hungry again, so we got to be careful. Anyway, so that's happening. Also starting at 9 o'clock this morning, so about the same time we started here, is the first graduation exercise for the Bryant High School class of 2020. They're having 4 different exercises today going through the alphabet, because that's the best way that they could do it to social distance everybody and make it safe for people to attend a graduation. Excuse me. They had to limit the number of tickets for the people, unfortunately, because they're at the arena and they had to ensure that everybody is social distance. But the first group was at 9 o'clock. The second group is at 11, I believe. And then there's one, I think it's at 1:30 and 3:30 are the afternoon sessions. My son will be graduating at 3:30, but I'm going to try to hit at least parts of every one of those events because this is the last group of kids that I had in class. So I want to say bye to them. In addition to that, at 12:30 at the Bryant Police Department, this gentleman, and his name slips past me right now, but he is coming to donate $5,000 to our police officer, Samantha Hodgson, who got shot in the line of duty last December. So we're looking forward to that. And then at 7:30 at this evening, he will be at the airport and doing a 1-mile memorial run for the Alexander police officer that got shot and killed, last month, I believe it was. So if you're able to go see that and some of that. Zachariah.
And he is running for Heroes.
He's running for Heroes is the organization. Sorry, it slipped my mind. And you can find him on Facebook and follow him. I did post, I think I shared something about it yesterday or the day before. I know the police department has. So go to their Facebook page if you want to do something with that. So it should be fun. It should be good. And it's a good way to support. He seems like a really amazing young man to be able to do this. And he apparently travels all over the United States doing things like this, which is really phenomenal. It shows good community spirit. Couple of things that I need to bring up. One is the census. 2020 census is still going on. I think they are about to start door-to-door knocking. So if you don't want somebody knocking on your door to complete the census, you really need to go out there and go online and file your census information. It is required that everybody complete the census. And it's really important for everybody to complete the census because if you don't, then the city, the state, and the county, we all lose out on money that we get because they base the distribution of money through, from the federal government is that they give to the states and local governments. That's based on population. So if we don't have an accurate population, we don't know if you're here or not. So we don't get that money. So please do that. Just to let you know, I checked it yesterday and Bryant's rate of self-response right now is at 61.1%. Honestly, I was expecting about 75 or 80%, but we'll get there, I hope. So go out there, complete your census. It really is very easy. There's only 6 or 7 questions, it seems like, or at least when I did it, there was. And it does not take more than probably 10 minutes or so. So please get out and do that to help your state and local governments with that. A reminder about door-to-door salesmen. I've been noticing on social media, we've got some door-to-door salesmen. And if somebody knocks on your door trying to sell you something, they are required to have a permit in the city of Bryant. So if they come to your door, ask them if they have a permit. If they don't, tell them they need to go get one and do accordingly. If you don't want to buy that from them, whether they have a permit or not, that's fine. Just say no thank you and they should go on. So if you have any issues, let us know about that. One big thing that's happening that I got notified of this week is unemployment scams. There are individuals out there, or maybe groups of individuals, I don't know, that are actually filing for unemployment claims under fictitious names or under names of people that are actually working. And of course, when the unemployment agency finds out, they look and say, hey, I believe this person's working. They try to verify it with the employer and stuff like that. That's how we became aware of it, partly because 3 of our city employees were done that way, and they contacted the city, and the city said no, they work here, or some other conditions have applied and they're not eligible for unemployment. So, but they get that, and there's certain things you should do, and I believe I shared that yesterday. If I didn't, I'll share it today on Facebook. A graphic that Representative French Hill sent out the other day to some people. shows you a website where you can go and file that if you find out that you've been a victim of this. And then it winds up going to the Attorney General's office, and they do an investigation, and the unemployment agency does investigations, and they resolve that issue for you. But it's really important that we protect the unemployment from that, because we don't need people taking the money from people that actually deserve that or need that. So please be aware of that and pay attention to that. A couple of things happening project-wise here in the great city of Bryant. We had a workshop earlier this month talking about some parks projects. One is over here at Ashley Park, which is next door to the City Hall, and the other is at Alcoa 40 Park. What we're looking at doing there is, as you know, right now, there are no bathrooms available at both of those parks because of issues with them and stuff like that. So we put forth a proposal to actually put in bathrooms at both of those parks. So people, when you're at the park, you can actually go to the bathroom without going into a porta potty. Because if you're like me, porta potties are my last choice if I can do it, because especially in the summertime, they're not the most fun places to be inside. I'm just going to leave it at that. So we got those couple of projects. We're also starting the construction on the pavilion at Bishop Center. So that'll be built, and it should be ready by this fall. In addition, we're putting up what we're calling affectionately Festival Electricity. So when we have a festival out there and food trucks are out there, they'll be able to plug in and they won't have to use generators. In addition, we're going to have some setups to where I believe, if it all works out right, that there can be some RV parks parking there, some overnight parking for RVs for different events. And, sometimes at tournaments, people come in with an RV and they ask to park in the parking lot, but we'll have that, and they'll hook up and we'll do some type of rental for that. So that's kind of cool stuff to happen.
It's going to go to council this month.
Right, that'll go to council this month. All of those will be at council this month for approvals.
There's actually some information on the city agenda center. If they go into the workshop we have,
Right.
it can be logged.
Right, and Dana reminded me, if you go into the agenda center and on the City of Bryant website, in the workshop, there's some information about that. So if you want to look at it a little bit closer, you can do that. Excuse me. Allergies are kind of bad today for me. I don't know what it was. I guess I stayed outside on the front porch too much last night. Other things that are happening in Bryant, we're still looking at some stormwater things that we've been working on for a long time. As you may or may not remember, last year I allocated $1 million towards some stormwater projects. Some of those we did engineering on several of those. We prioritized several of those. And now we've started working on those. So in certain areas, you'll see that there may be a road closure that needs to be done temporarily for a day or two, so we can run a pipe or redo a pipe or something like that. So please, in situations like that, please be patient with us. They try to get that stuff done across roads as quickly as they can so as not to disrupt your normal everyday business. But we're going to be as quick as we can. I met with French Hill yesterday. We met at the police department for a little bit, and then we went out to where the parkway is in Alcoa 40 Park, and we talked about the needs at the police department as well as the parkway project. And he has assured me that he's willing to help us any way he can on that project as we go through it. So I appreciate all his help and benefits and his insights to certain things. He's a pretty sharp man, and we appreciate his partnership, we'll say. Trying to think of anything else that's off the top of my head that I might need to think of that I haven't thought of. If not, I might delve into the topic of this past week, and that would be masks. The wearing of masks. I've got one on my desk over there, but I could show you, but you know what they look like. And I didn't bring the one that says LSU because, I figured some Razorback fans might get upset about it or something. But my son's going to LSU next year, so I got to root for them, but only when they're not playing Arkansas. Masks. I've had some people ask me about a mask ordinance, and as you know, the governor passed down some legislation or an executive order a couple of weeks ago that allowed cities to enact a mask ordinance or a mask resolution relating to that. I've thought about it. I've had several people ask me to enact that. I've also had several people ask me not to enact that. And after giving it great consideration, I made a release on Facebook about why I felt that we did not need to do that right now. Uh, and the reason being is the businesses, for the most part, require masks if you go into a business. And what this legislation would do would be basically say, okay, if a business has a sign up that says you need to wear a mask while you're in here, then what this ordinance would have said would allow the police to come. If they called the police, it would allow the police to come and educate that person that's not wearing the mask or that doesn't want to wear the mask on why they need to do that. And if that didn't work and they wouldn't comply with that mask, they were able to be trespassed off the property at the request of that business owner. And here's the deal with that. It's just another ordinance. It really won't change anything because even right now without that ordinance, that can be done. If a business doesn't want somebody in their business without wearing a mask and that person refuses, they are allowed to notify the police and the police can come out and at their request, they can be trespassed off that property. In other words, basically told to leave and they can't come back until they comply with that request. That's the right of that business owner. There are some businesses that feel it's really important and they are under state guidance that it's required to wear a mask. So if you have to go into those businesses and you refuse to wear a mask, that will happen because that's a state ordinance. And if that business does not comply with that it's actually a state mandate, not an ordinance. But if the business doesn't apply with that state mandate, that business can be shut down. That actually happened in Little Rock because the people weren't doing what they were supposed to properly, and it actually resulted in some COVID cases. And the State Department of Health came in and shut that business down. We don't want that to happen in the city of Bryant. What I did notice is on the city of Bryant when I made that post is the fact that you have two basic camps in this. You have people that think masks are necessary, which I am one of those. And when I go into a business, I went to Edwards yesterday. I went to a couple of different businesses yesterday. I wore my mask because it really is to protect everybody else from me because who knows? I may have COVID, I may not, but why not protect you from me in case I have to cough or sneeze or something like that? And if I can't social distance, I'll be wearing a mask. While I was at the farmer's market this morning, I didn't wear a mask because I was able to social distance as I went around and did my little Facebook Live. Now, some people think masks aren't necessary, that it's against their rights and stuff like that. And well, it may or may not be. I'm not a constitutional lawyer, so I don't know if it would be against your rights or not. I would be inclined to think not, but I think we're all mostly decent human beings. And if we can do anything at all to protect the people that are at most risk for this, and especially in cases where we have to go shopping or they have to go shopping, I think it's our duty to do that as good citizens, So please, if you're in a situation like that, please be sure to either social distance or wear a mask to protect the people, because people of all ages get this, and honestly, people of all ages are dying from this. And personally, in my point of view, and this is just me personally, if me wearing a mask can prevent somebody from getting sick and becoming seriously ill and potentially dying, I'll do it. Not a problem. So I ask that you do that as well. Also, on Facebook and social media, a lot of times when issues like this come up and the two camps are there, they really get into a heated discussion with each other. And I would ask that if you do that, a discussion is good. There's nothing wrong with discussion. It's a good way to learn things, but just be civil with it. You don't have to call people names. You don't have to get ugly with people. You don't have to call people Karen or whatever, because the people that are really named Karen probably don't like that. And a couple of my friends are, and I'm pretty sure they don't like that.
And they're representing our community to the public, to the
That's
world.
right. And when you're out there, and especially when you're commenting on posts that I do, you're representing our community, as Dana just said. So I would like to think our community is a kind community, that we are considerate of others. So I would really appreciate it if you could do the same thing. So with regard to that, have you seen any questions popping up or anything, Dana?
I haven't. We've had Leewood Thomas has been on, and our favorite Douglas Warner.
Yeah. Hello, Doug. How you doing? Good to see you. And Leewood, hey, I see that you applied as a census worker, and good for you. I think that can be a good job. So I'm sure they have other people that they probably need some more. So feel free to reach out to the census and apply.
I wonder, see if anybody on has some questions.
Does anybody have questions?
Oh.
Could there be a standard sign that Bryant businesses could use to put on their front door if they're requiring masks in their building?
Let's get with,
I bet I can find one from the Arkansas Municipal League or something. I think I saw one a couple of weeks ago. Miss Noelmeyer, let me get that out, and we'll push that out in a press release or something like early next week. We'll find something.
Leewood has a question about the wastewater pipeline.
I believe that pipeline is on schedule. Honestly, I can't remember the estimated completion date, because we have so many projects going. I let other people worry about the actual completion date on it, because you know as well as I do, Leewood, that when weather hits, things go out the window with completion dates.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that they will be having to cross Mills Park Road if they haven't yet soon. They're going up around Debs Wood. I believe there's an intersection up there that they're working through early this week or this weekend, early this next week or this weekend. So I think that's what's happening with that, Leewood. If need be, I can get a little more update this week, and we can push a little more information out, or we can have our public works do that.
So did you talk about the Debswood?
That intersection?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about,
Okay.
closing, and be patient with us.
Yes,
That's one of the
so
main ones
wanna make
over
sure.
by Debswood. Dana was making sure I mentioned the intersection by Debswood that will be closed. It's right by that creek over there, if you know where that's at. And if you live in that neighborhood, you know where that's at.
It's Monday.
And it's Monday, she says, is when they're going to start that. So they're going to get that section done as quickly as possible. I drove through there yesterday, and it looked like they had the prep work already, so they could do it pretty quick in a matter of a day or two. So we try to inconvenience you as little as possible. But somebody says it'd be nice to have a list of businesses requiring masks so people know where it is safe to shop. I can get with the council, Greater Bryant's Chamber of Commerce, and we might be able to work something up with that next week. I'll get with them early next week, and we'll see about that. That's not a bad little idea.
Mamie Jones said hello.
Hello, Mamie Jones. How are you? If I missed anybody saying good morning this morning earlier, good morning to everybody. It's going to be hot today, just to let y'all know. I started sweating when I was getting my breakfast and stuff at the farmer's market. I could feel it rolling down my back. It's always fun. So when I run later in the evening tonight, hopefully it'll be cool enough that we can survive. But I did find a friend that's willing to run with me tonight, so it works out good.
The Southwest Trail, do you want to pull that public meeting notice up?
Oh, yeah.
On your email? I don't have it with me.
Let me try to find it real quick. I'll look real quick. I will. It starts. Yeah, I think I've got it right here. Where there's the Southwest Trail, if you're familiar with that, is a trail that's going to be running from Central Arkansas, actually from Central High School in Little Rock, all the way down through Bauxite, and then connect. And it's going to keep continuing west and connect to Hot Springs. if I can type the way I've got this set. Yeah, here we go. They're going to do a virtual public hearing because of the COVID crisis. It starts July 12th, which is tomorrow, and it ends on August 26th. So if you want to get some information of that, it's southwesttrail.transportationplanroom.com, and you can get some information on that. And they're going to be taking comments on there for the Southwest Trail. This is in relation, it's required for them to do that for their environmental portion of it. A lot of it they're hoping to align with an old railroad track that's in that area, and a railroad track, so they're going to be doing acquisition of some property through there. The plan for Bryant, because it will affect Bryant, the plan for Bryant, since it doesn't go through Bryant, is to connect the trail that we have on the parkway, which actually will go through Alcoa 40 Park there on Show Road, and it'll trail along with the parkway all the way down to Reynolds Road by the new fire station down there, fire station number 2, and then we hope to get an intergovernmental project going with the county, Arkansas, us, Bauxite, and maybe some other organizations, so we can have a connection to that trail in Bauxite, since it's going through Bauxite, so people could stage up in the Alcoa 40 Park and parking lot. And we hope to have a pavilion there with some bike repair places and water fountains and things, so they can fill up, and then they can get on their bikes there and ride all the way down to the Southwest Trail, and either ride towards Little Rock or ride towards Hot Springs and enjoy themselves, and then come back, and then everybody will be hungry, so they can grab a bite to eat here in Bryant. So that's one of the things with the Southwest Trail that's really good. Can't think of anything else on that. Let me think of what else I might need to be doing. Project Southwest Trails, that. Trying to think. There was something else I was thinking about, but it slipped my mind. Look at my list over here.
Bryant 101?
Yes, Bryant 101. That's what slipped my mind, because actually I think it was Leewood that mentioned it a second ago, said something about Bryant 101. Because he was actually a member of the first Bryant 101, and he still stayed involved with the city, and we really greatly appreciate that. With Bryant 101, it's been going on for a couple of weeks. The first week they learned about city finance. This past week they learned about city planning, and this coming up week they're going to be learning about engineering associated with city projects and stuff like that. It's basically designed to get people to become familiar with all the different aspects of city government and what city government does and how we help people. We had to limit the size mainly to make it a little better for the interpersonal relationships, and we limited it to 4 per ward, wasn't that right? Mm-hmm. So we had 16 people in there. We've had a couple that couldn't come because they had to self-isolate for various reasons. But that's okay. We're also going to offer a section of that in the fall. So because we had such good response to it, we'll offer it again in the fall. And then after that, we will, as far as I'm planning to do, we'll at a minimum offer it once a year, either in the spring or in the fall. Or if the demand is high enough, we'll offer it twice a year and see what happens. And try to get as many people educated on city government and involved in city government as we can, because we all know that without being involved in city government, you don't know what's going on, and we don't get the feedback we need to do what we need to do and do an effective job. Generally, just so everybody knows, and I mentioned this to Bryant 101 earlier the other day, when we get feedback, if there's an issue that comes before council or a planning commission or something like that, when we get feedback, it's generally just negative feedback, meaning it's feedback against whatever that is. I know that there are people that are probably for some of that, but we generally don't hear from them. So it's really important to get a balanced viewpoint and to hear both viewpoints. And it's important for council to hear both viewpoints as well as me. That way we can make the best decision we can for the city of Bryant. So hopefully that helps some people. Lee Wood said Bryant 101 is a fantastic opportunity to learn about the city and its inner workings. So he's glad that it's back, and we're glad that he was there for it, and he's still involved. So let's see. What else do we have? Any other questions I'm seeing on there? I don't see anything.
I don't think we missed anything.
I don't think we've missed anything either. Hopefully we will, hopefully soon we'll be able to maybe do some of this a little bit live if we can figure out a way to social distance better. But I think even when we go live, I would still like to do these and put these online as well, because especially on busy fall mornings and spring days on Saturdays, people getting out and about, they might not want to sit around on Saturday morning, one Saturday morning a month, and listen to the mayor ramble on about different things. So they could always wait and listen in a little bit later if they wanted to, if we record them. So I think it's a good thing we do this. It's one of my favorite scenes back there. It's rice fields, terraced rice fields. Here, let me move my head. So anyway, any other questions? I'll give it a couple more minutes while me and Dana see if there's anything else we can think of that we've missed or failed to mention today or for this month. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Mentioned the graduations. I'm glad that the people that are going through the graduation are able to graduate.
Can't think of anything else.
See, somebody posted asking, do you know of any Q&A forums that will be held about kids going back to school this fall? I don't know about any Q&A forums. However, I do know on the Bryant Schools that they have posted several Q&As, links for their plan to go back to school. So if you reach out to the Bryant School District, they can help you with that. Other than that, I don't think they're doing anything in person because, in all honesty, it'd be very difficult to get a large group of people together. They would actually, if the group was over a certain size, they would have to get approval from the health department for that. And of course, everybody'd be wearing masks, and when you're in a large group like that, I've discovered that when everybody wears masks and somebody in the way back asks a question, it's very difficult to understand what they're saying because you can't see their lips move. And it may be because I'm maybe getting old and losing my hearing or something, but it's easier for me to hear somebody if I can see their mouth moving. I don't understand it, but
I miss seeing people smile.
And Dana said she misses seeing people smiling because, when they're wearing the mask, it can be difficult to see if you're smiling or if you're just squinting, So I can't think of anything else. Virginia, thank you for that. I appreciate that. If there's nothing else, like I say, I'll give it a couple more minutes and try to think of something else to ramble about. I could be mean and open this up and let y'all watch me eat one of these, but that would just be mean and torture. So one of these is a coffee flavor one I'm looking forward to. I'll probably have that with my coffee when I get off of here, just because. So can't think of anything else. So I haven't seen anybody else pop a question up there in the last minute or two. So I guess I will be signing off and saying I will see y'all later, and I'm going to leave here and run over to the high school and see some of these kids that were in my last class before I became mayor. So with all that, wish y'all the best of weekends and weeks to come. Hopefully we'll get through this crisis as quickly as we can. So we are just happy that we're able to get this and get interactions with you. And so y'all enjoy, have a safe weekend. Try to stay cool because I think all next week it's going to be ridiculous hot. Summer has finally arrived in Arkansas. And please be nice to each other. Talk to y'all later. Bye.